Hello friends, thank you so much for being here with me. In today's video, I'm going to bring you along for another typical day in the life. And of course, we're starting off with some morning chores. I always like to clean my kitchen well before we start homeschool. There's just something about having a fresh, clean slate that, I don't know, as the mom, it feels so good for me. I feel like I don't have to worry about clutter while I'm trying to get everything else done. The kids have their chores. There's actually some really cute little animal moments in this video, so stay tuned for that. And Bennett, he's so sweet. He likes to make me my coffee in the morning, and I always tell him that he makes the perfect cup. And he says it's because he puts love in it. How cute. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to our home. Today we are going to do some more homeschool, and we have a few other fun things on the go today. We're going to bring in our pumpkins from our pumpkin patch, and the kids are going to decorate them. And I need to bake some bread, so I'll bring you along for that as well. I actually have a really easy recipe that I learned. I only started baking bread a few years ago, and actually not even that long, maybe 2 years ago. And I had zero bread baking experience. So I found a recipe that's really easy. So I will share that with you here today, and a little bit more homemaking and cleaning and stuff like that. So stick around, it's gonna be a good day. One very important piece of my morning, every single morning, is my coffee. And Bennett made
Snuggle.
And Snuggles, yes. Bennett and I snuggle every morning. So Bennett made my coffee this morning, and he makes me the perfect cup of coffee, don't you?
And sometimes I forget to give her a snuggle.
Sometimes. And that's sad, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he made me the perfect cup of coffee, and we're ready to start our day. Here we go. Lord, thank you so much for another day. God, we thank you for the beautiful sunshine, and we just pray that you be with us today during our school time and everything else that we do. I ask that you would bless us. I ask that you would give us the fruits of the Spirit and help us to be kind and loving towards each other. I pray Daddy has a good day at work, and that you just give us a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, we thank you for all of your blessings. In Jesus' name. Okay, morning.
I'm putting this song.
So one thing that we do in our homeschool is called morning journals. So a morning journal is basically just a scribbler, and the kids will write or draw whatever they want. I don't check these. I'm not marking these in any way. This is just total creative time for them, and it's been really good. Bennett, he loves to draw. He'll often then dictate to me what he wants me to write about in his journal, and then I'll read it back. And it's like he's written a story himself. And then Rebecca, she'll just write or draw whatever she wants. So that's what the kids are working on right now. What are you doing, buddy?
I'm just drawing a picture.
What's it of?
Squares.
What are you doing today?
I like to put borders on my pages. It makes my work feel more done.
Mm-hmm. So we actually just started something new yesterday. And it's something that I had been thinking of doing since the beginning of the school year, but I forgot about it, and Rebecca reminded me of it yesterday. So we went out to Dollar Store and got some poster boards, some small poster board, and we created some reading incentive charts. Okay, so this is what they look like. Rebecca made them last night. It's sunny here. I'm trying to not make it super shadowy. So the blue one's Bennett's and the pink one is Rebecca's. So the way it works for Bennett, obviously he's younger, he's only 5. So every time he reads through 3 or 4 pages of one of his books, he gets to put a sticker on, right? Are you going to show everybody?
Yeah.
And so he gets a sticker after 3 or 4 pages. And then Rebecca, she gets a sticker after she reads a chapter book. Each sticker equals 1 reward. And then, 1 point, I should say.
I got 1 reward. I got 1 point.
You got 1 point, and Rebecca has 1 point. That's right. However many stickers they have at the end of the month, then I will figure out a reward for them. I still have to work that out in my head. I haven't totally figured out the reward system exactly just yet, but that's how it works. So it's a nice little reading incentive just to encourage some more reading.
I am drawing Rebecca's.
Oh, you're drawing her chart?
Yeah.
Nice. You're so sweet. You're such a sweet girl. Hi. How many pumpkins do we have? A lot. We've got the big one, that one's not orange yet, but that's okay. We've got quite a few little orange ones.
Yeah.
So are we going to do a family, like a pumpkin family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want that? You want that? Actually, yes, I do, please. I would like that.
So right now we're on break. The kids are playing in the living room with some toys, and in a minute we're gonna go outside. And then in a few minutes we're gonna go outside. We're gonna go outside and we're gonna pick pumpkins from the garden. This garden has been such a blessing to me this year. I have so enjoyed working in this garden. We grew a lot, and these pumpkins, these are the very last things that we're bringing in from the garden. Everything else we've harvested, but we've been waiting for these pumpkins. Now, they didn't get super big, but it didn't matter. We were really happy with them. I don't know if it was the variety that I planted, maybe it was a smaller variety, but yeah, they didn't get super huge. This one here that she has now was the biggest one. They made that the daddy pumpkin when they decorated them. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter. We had so much fun. Even little ones like this we brought in. We were very happy with it. The kids were so excited. These are Rebecca's bunnies. They are her pets and they're so sweet. The white one is Snowball and the brown one is Lily. Here I am just cleaning off all of the pumpkins and getting them ready for the kids to decorate. They had been talking about this pretty much the whole week. They were so excited to decorate the pumpkins. So they gave each of them a face, and some of them even have names, and they're now scattered around the house in various different locations. So it's wonderful. I love seeing the kids have fun and be creative with stuff like this. I'm gonna make the bread. So these are the ingredients that go in the bread. It's very simple, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. But we have whole wheat flour, so it is a whole wheat bread recipe. And this is some organic unbleached flour. So milk, salt, yeast, 2 eggs, honey, and some oil. So this is what goes in, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Like I said earlier, I am not an expert bread maker, but this has become my go-to, and I feel like anybody can do this. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So I always make 2 loaves of bread at one time. So the recipe that I'm using is for 2 loaves of bread. So if you were gonna just make 1, you would just cut this in half. So it's 4 cups of whole wheat flour. And then 1 cup of organic, well, I use organic unbleached, but just all-purpose flour, 1 cup. Then you're gonna use your yeast. Now I use the active dry yeast. You can use other yeasts with it. I just never have, so I don't know how that would turn out. But I do 4 teaspoons of the yeast. Again, this is for 2 loaves of bread. 2 teaspoons of salt. So then I like to take a whisk and just get everything sort of mixed up in the bowl before I add any of the wet ingredients. We need 2 cups of milk. Now again, remember this is 2 loaves of bread. So if you're only doing 1 loaf of bread, you would cut all of this in half. But you want to warm your milk first. You don't want to put it in cold. So what I do is I just put it in the microwave for, I do 40 seconds and then I stir it, then I do 40 more seconds and then I stir it, and then I do 30 seconds. There is no science behind that. That is just what works for me in my microwave. But I do it until I get a temperature of about 115 degrees for the milk. And I just use, it's actually a meat thermometer that I have, and it works really well. So just stick it in, and I'm looking for about 115 degrees-ish. Between 110 and 120 is what you're going for. I've got 116, so that's perfect. So just pour your milk in. The next ingredient is honey. So my honey is getting empty. So I'm just gonna measure out 4 tablespoons of honey. So I'm just gonna add that right into my mixer. I do love that this recipe uses honey and not refined sugar. The next thing is oil. So I use avocado oil. You could use olive oil if you wanted to. It's up to you. And you want 4 tablespoons of oil. And the final ingredient is eggs. So 2 eggs. You do low for a few seconds just to mix in the flour. Then you turn your mixer up to high and you let it mix for 2 minutes. So this has been mixed for 2 minutes. Now you're going to take half a cup of your all-purpose flour and you're just going to add it right in. And then you're going to mix it in for just a few seconds. I always cover it with a towel. My mom taught me that when I was younger, and I use that tip all the time. The next thing you're going to do is get your dough onto your surface. So now what I like to do is actually flour my hands a little bit, and then I'll just sprinkle some onto this. Now I'm going to get a little bit of flour on this, not too much. This is perfect. And I'm going to knead it with my hands 50 times, 50 times. So you don't cut this step in half. If you're only doing 1 loaf, you still knead it 50 times. Baking bread reminds me so much of my grandma. My grandmother was an amazing bread maker, and whenever we would go visit her, her house just smelled so much like homemade bread. And I can remember my grandpa, he used to toast her homemade bread on their wood stove. Oh, like, you can't beat that. Well, now that I've told you that story, I've completely lost count of how many times I've kneaded this bread. I'd say it's about 25. I'm gonna go with that. This is about 50. It feels like 50 to me. But don't do what I do. Don't talk and lose count, just knead it 50 times. All right, so you're gonna shape it into a nice little ball. You're gonna cover this, and you're gonna let this sit for 10 minutes. So this is the first rise. 10 minutes, and then you're gonna come back to it. So it's been 10 minutes, this has been rising. I just take my pastry cutter, and again, I'm only doing this because I doubled the recipe to make 2 loaves. If you are only making 1 loaf, you skip this altogether. But I'm dividing the dough into 2 sections because I'm making 2 loaves. You're just gonna lay each piece out like that. Again, if you're only doing 1, you'll have 1 piece. Now you don't want to go in and do a lot of kneading on this because you don't want your dough to get overworked, but you just take it and push it down with your fingers, just gently. You want to almost make a rectangle shape with the dough, almost. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I take it, and I don't pull hard, but I give a little gentle tug on the end, and I roll it up almost like a cinnamon roll. So I just roll it, tugging just a little bit. Then I place it seam side down on the counter like that. And then these little ends, I'm just gonna tuck them in like that. Turn it around, tuck it in, move that out of the way. So you end up with a nice little log of bread dough. And then just place it in your pan. There we have our next little loaf of bread. So put that in. Then I'm going to set them, now I do it on my oven. So my oven is preheated to 375 degrees. So what I do is I just set the bread pans on top of my oven with a towel over them. And it needs to rise until the dough is about 1 inch above the side of the pan. So here where I live, and I mean, it really depends on the temperature of the day and everything, but it's about an hour, maybe a little less, for it to rise to that point. But depending on where you live and the temperature in the air, you may find that it rises quicker if it's a lot warmer in your house. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set them on my oven, cover them up, and they'll rise for their second rise. It has been a really, really busy morning so far. I am kind of tired, but the bread is rising and I just need to do a few little tidy up things before I can sit and have my coffee. And I really want to have my coffee, so that's my motivation to get these things done. Here, I'm just doing a quick little tidy up of the sunroom. A lot of our homeschool supplies end up there through the morning, and I don't like to leave it out because then it just seems cluttered for the rest of the day. It's a pretty simple thing to do, but it makes a world of difference. Apparently, this is our new mascot. I think it's a pretty good one. So while I was editing this video, this section seriously had me laughing. My dogs would not stop trying to get up on the bed while I was making it, and they're relentless. This was not planned, and yeah, it ended up being kind of funny to me to watch this process. In the moment, I was legitimately getting kind of irritated. You can see me there pushing Angel out of the way because she's so big. She takes up so much space, but in the end, I kind of gave up because there was just no point. I had to give in. I give up. No, don't jump up. No. It is a lost cause. Oh well, at least my bed got made, so that's a win. This afternoon coffee time is something I look forward to every day. And I do always try to get most of the homemaking and the chores done before my coffee. Here's Xena. She's such a snuggle bug. She came up to me for snuggles. She's an old dog. Anyway, my coffee, as you can tell, it's like heaven to me. So I took a little bit of time. I worked on my blog and gave Angel some love. It was good. Okay, so it's been just a little over an hour, and I'm going to show you. This is ready. So if you turn this to the side, you turn it over, see how that is about an inch above the pan? That is what you want. So these are ready to go in the oven. So the bread goes in the oven for half an hour. At about the 15-minute mark, I take a piece of tin foil and I put it into like a little dome, and I place it over top of the loaves in the oven for the remaining 15 minutes. And that just keeps the bread from getting too brown and keeps the crust from getting too hard. So you just take 2 pieces of foil and you want to place them shiny side up. And you're just going to lay them out and just kind of crinkle them like this with your hands. So they're not like super flat. And then you're going to take the edges and just create like an oval shape. So that you kind of have like a little hat. Yeah, that's it. That's all you do. Again, I have 2 loaves of bread, so I gotta do it twice. That's it. So once the timer goes off at the 15-minute mark, I'll just open the oven and I'll just slide these in and place them on top of the bread loaves and then bake it for 15 more minutes. And it'll be all done. And the house is gonna smell so good, like bread. Smells so good. There's nothing quite like the smell of bread. That's all for today, friends. Thank you so much for being here with me. It was a really great day. I got a lot done, and now I'm tired. I'm ready to cook supper, have my me time. I mentioned that in my last video. If you didn't see it, go check it out. But I've turned supper into my me time. I listen to a podcast, and I just kind of get in the cooking zone, and it feels really good. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do now. Please click subscribe if you haven't already. There is going to be so many fun videos to come. If you like Christmas, you're going to want to stick around my channel because I don't hold back at Christmas time. We decorate so much. I'll give you a hint. I have 7 Christmas trees. Yes, 7. And they all go up every year. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.